Hello there and good morning. Matt Hancock thought he had a bright, shiny, brand new job. Didn't work out well, did it? As per usual, please like, subscribe and comment below. And when subscribing, please do press that little bell, but also select the all option, or you won't get any notifications when I publish a new video. Matt Hancock, who got himself into a close encounter of the Gina Colodengelo kind, thought he'd found a way to launder his past when offered a United Nations job. He announced his new role, saying he was honoured to be approached by the United Nations. But firstly, it turns out it was an unpaid role, so I wondered how honoured he really was. And he also got a lot of stick because the Health and Social Care Committee released a report on the same day saying that when Hancock was Health Secretary, the UK's early response to the pandemic was the worst public health failure ever. On top of that, the BBC reports that his appointment was coming under fire for his lack of expertise, past mistakes and suitability. Anyway, here we are a couple of days later, and suddenly the United Nations finds a little rule in their handbook and say they are not taking Hancock's appointment as the UN Special Representative on Financial Innovation and Climate Change for the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa any further. And all after such glowing support from his fellow MPs. But Nick Dearden, Director of Global Justice Now, summed it up by saying, "The last thing the African continent needs is a failed British politician. This isn't the 19th century." Anyway, the UN rule apparently says that a sitting MP can't be a UN Special Representative. Thought they'd have done their due diligence before announcing it, wouldn't you? But it did allow a bit of face-saving, with Hancock saying, "Since I am committed to continuing to serve as MP for West Suffolk, this means I cannot take up the position. I look forward to supporting the UN ECA in their mission in whatever way I can in my parliamentary role." So is this just an admin slip-up, or a very public and epic fail, and just another entry on the fast-going backwards Hancock CV? Now, it looks like the Deputy Prime Minister Dominic Raab is about to ruffle a few feathers. But before I get to that, I just want to say a massive thank you to all my Super Thanks, Patreon and PayPal supporters, as well as those that do buy a mug with my mug on it. Links in the descriptions box below. You really do help me keep this channel going. Now, according to the Telegraph, the Deputy Prime Minister and Justice Secretary Dominic Raab is looking at ways to get around the European Courts of Justice in Strasbourg to stop its judges dictating to us. Now, just to remind people, the European Court of Justice, the ECHR, is not a European Union institution. It is part of the Council of Europe and its European Convention on Human Rights, which is a separate entity to the European Union, although they do share a flag and an anthem and use some of the same buildings. Under the Lisbon Treaty, all EU 27 member states have to sign up to the European Convention on Human Rights and sign up to its court's rulings. The EU itself, that dictates that member states must sign up to the ECHR, is also required to do so under the Lisbon Treaty, but has so far failed to do so and refuses to be bound by the ECHR, because it would jeopardise the supremacy of the EU and its European Court of Justice. Anyway, when we were a member of the EU, we had to be bound by the ECHR. But when we left, there was talk that we would leave the ECHR as well. But Boris allowed himself to be bullied by the non-ECHR signatory, the European Union, into staying in the ECHR. That's right, The EU, that refuses to sign up to the ECHR in case it loses its supremacy, ordered the UK to remain bound by it in order to get that withdrawal agreement treaty and that terrible Northern Ireland Protocol. Oh, and give up fishing grounds too. Anyway, Dominic Raab is trying to stop the ECHR rulings being used by foreign criminals to force the courts to let them stay in the UK, whatever heinous crimes they commit. And all this probably stems from the fact that despite what Ramonas and the EU tell you, the UK is one of, if not the, most law-abiding country on the international stage, which makes us an easy target for all these international entities to point fingers at us, demanding we change to suit them. And to label the UK as devoid of human rights when comparing us to Saudi Arabia, Russia and China, etc., 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 is totally laughable. Although the pandemic has brought out some worrying tendencies in some parts of our government. Anyway, Raab also wants to stop the continual harassment of UK soldiers through the courts for decades, despite no new evidence being submitted. Overall, he wants to make the UK Supreme Court, well, supreme in the UK, as the name suggests. Now, he'll need to change the UK Human Rights Act 1998 to do this. And I bet the lefties and Ramonas go absolutely wild at the first hint of it. Remember, the lefties and the Ramonas do not want the UK to stand alone, independent and able to forge its own way. And a move away from the ECHR to turn it from making effectively binding rulings over us into being more advisory rulings would also be a move away from the European Union. Cue Ramona meltdowns. And where do you think the likes of Keir Starmer would be on this? And getting these changes through the House of Lords, it would be war. And the Ramona press wouldn't be much better. Wonder whose side the BBC will be on here. The side of the UK or the side of, well, just about anyone else? Silly question, isn't it? And you also have to wonder how our friends and partners in the European Union will take it. Raab's proposals to correct ECHR rulings came out in a Telegraph interview, so I wonder if this is kite flying to judge public response to it, or is he really serious? Now, the Express is reporting that the Prime Minister is looking to get an alliance going with what is known as the Visegrad Four, the countries of Hungary, Poland, the Czech Republic and Slovakia. All of them EU members, so Boris is looking to sidestep Brussels, and the report quotes one senior source close to the Foreign Secretary Liz Truss as joking that perhaps we should set up an advisory unit on leaving the European Union. And I bet this move will needle Brussels to the core and also have the French President Emmanuel Macron, who already has it in for the UK over Brexit and the AUKUS deal. I bet it'll have him orbiting in anger. And could also give a boost to the Polexit campaign too. Interesting timing given that next week sees the restarting of serious talks over the Brexit Northern Ireland Protocol, with our Lord David Frost leading the charge to have it rewritten and the role of the ECJ in it removed. So, who would you rather go on your holidays with? The Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer or the Prime Minister Boris Johnson? Personally, I think the solo option might be the best bet here. But on balance, maybe Boris would be more of a laugh. And a super poll by the Mail says the same. Voters would rather have a drink or go on holiday with Boris Johnson than Keir Starmer, but think the Labour leader would make a better husband, it says. No, on balance, I'll go for the solo option every time given the options. So what's your opinion on Matt Hancock's failed UN appointment and Dominic Raab's assault on the ECHR? Please like and comment below.